Have you ever looked up at the sky and felt a sense of unease? Not from a storm cloud, but from something much smaller, much quieter. For the people of Denmark, this feeling has become all too real. Over the past few weeks, a strange and unsettling phenomenon has been unfolding. Drones, unidentified and uninvited, have been spotted buzzing near critical infrastructure and even over the very heart of the European Union's power. This isn't a scene from a sci-fi movie. It's a real-life mystery that has put an entire nation on high alert and sent ripples of concern across Europe. What's going on in Denmark? Are these just hobbyist drones flying where they shouldn't? Or is this something far more sinister? Today, we're diving deep into the drone crisis gripping Denmark. We'll explore the incidents, piece together the evidence, and unravel what experts are calling a classic case of hybrid warfare. And we'll look at how a seemingly local issue escalated into a major security concern for a recent high-stakes EU summit. Stick around, because this story is a chilling wake-up call about the new face of conflict in the 21st century. Let's start with the facts. It began with a series of strange sightings. Over a period of several weeks, Danish police received numerous reports of drones flying in restricted areas. We're not talking about parks or residential neighborhoods. These drones were spotted near key energy facilities, police stations, and even military sites. Think about that for a second. Unidentified aircraft loitering around the very places that keep a country running and secure. This immediately raised red flags. Danish authorities, including the police and the Danish Security and Intelligence Service, or PET, launched a full-scale investigation. The pattern was deliberate and provocative. One particularly alarming incident involved a drone flying over a major gas field in the North Sea. In a post-Nord Stream world, the vulnerability of Europe's energy infrastructure is a raw nerve. Seeing a drone in that airspace isn't just a nuisance, it's a potential threat. Then came another series of sightings, this time over the island of Bornholm, a strategically vital piece of Danish territory in the Baltic Sea. The drones were observed near police headquarters and other sensitive locations, almost as if they were testing response times and mapping out security layouts. The Danish police have been tight-lipped about the specifics, which is understandable given the national security implications. But they have confirmed that the drones were not ordinary commercial models. They describe them as robust and capable of flying in challenging weather conditions, which suggests a level of sophistication beyond your average off-the-shelf. The question on everyone's mind was, who is flying these drones, and what do they want? This is where the term hybrid warfare enters the conversation. It's a term you've probably heard, but what does it actually mean? Essentially, hybrid warfare is a strategy that blends conventional warfare, irregular warfare, and cyber warfare with other influencing methods, like disinformation, economic pressure, and, in this case, psychological operations. The goal isn't necessarily to launch a direct military attack, but to sow chaos, create uncertainty, and to stabilize a society from within. It's about creating a constant state of low-level anxiety, making people feel unsafe in their own country, and eroding trust in their government's ability to protect them. Think about the psychological impact of these drone sightings. It's a form of harassment. It sends a message. We can reach you anywhere. We are watching. It forces the target nation to expend resources, to chase shadows, and to divert attention and manpower to this new, ambiguous threat. It's death by 1,000 cuts, designed to exhaust and demoralize. Security experts in Denmark and across NATO were quick to point out that these tactics bear the hallmarks of operations previously linked to Russia. While no one has officially pointed the finger, the context is impossible to ignore. This isn't happening in a vacuum. It's happening against the backdrop of heightened tensions between Russia and the West. Now, let's connect the dots to the bigger European picture. The timing of this drone activity wasn't random. It peaked just as top EU leaders, including European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen and European Council President Charles Michel, were preparing to gather in Denmark. Their destination? The Faroe Islands, a self-governing archipelago under the Kingdom of Denmark, for a crucial summit. The summit's agenda was packed with sensitive topics, including E-Arctic relations and, you guessed it, security. The presence of these drones cast a long shadow over the event. Security was ramped up to unprecedented levels. The airspace around the summit venue was declared a no-fly zone, not just for drones, but for all unauthorized aircraft. The Danish military and police were on high alert, deploying counter-drone technology and increasing patrols. The message was clear. We are taking this threat seriously, but the damage, in a way, was already done. The narrative had been set. A major EU event, meant to project unity and strength, was forced to operate under a cloud of suspicion and a tangible security threat. This is the genius and the danger of hybrid warfare. Without firing a single shot, the perpetrator managed to disrupt a high-level political gathering, force a NATO country to divert significant security resources, and inject a sense of vulnerability into the heart of the European project. It demonstrates how relatively low-cost, low-risk operations can achieve significant strategic objectives. You don't need to send a bomber. A sophisticated drone and a well-timed flight path can be enough to create a major headache and a political firestorm. So, what happens now? The Danish investigation is ongoing. They are analyzing flight data, examining witness reports, and collaborating with international partners to try and definitively identify the source of these drones. But attribution in these cases is notoriously difficult. The operators could be miles away, using encrypted communication channels. Proving who was at the controls is a monumental challenge. This crisis has served as a critical wake-up call for Denmark and for all of Europe. It highlights a significant vulnerability in our modern societies. Our critical infrastructure power grids, communication networks, transport hubs was built in an era before the widespread availability of sophisticated, long-range drones. We are now in a race to adapt. This means investing in advanced counter-drone systems, which can detect, track, and neutralize hostile drones. It means updating laws and regulations, and it means fostering greater public awareness and vigilance. But the solution isn't just technological or legal. It's also strategic. Nations need to develop a comprehensive doctrine for how to respond to hybrid threats. When does a series of drone incursions cross the line from harassment to an act of aggression? What is a proportional response? These are the tough questions that military planners and policymakers across the Western world are grappling with right now. The old rulebook of international conflict is being rewritten, and drones are holding the pen for a significant chapter. What this Danish episode teaches us is that the front lines of the 21st century are not always on a distant battlefield. Sometimes they are right above our heads. The threat is ambiguous, deniable, and designed to wear us down psychologically. But recognizing the strategy is the first step to defeating it. By understanding the playbook of hybrid warfare, by investing in new defenses, and by standing united with allies, we can show that these attempts to sow division and fear will not succeed. The quiet buzz of a drone in the sky is a reminder that vigilance is the price of security in our complex and ever-changing world. This isn't just Denmark's problem. It's a shared challenge. As technology continues to evolve, we can expect to see more of these kinds of incidents. The barrier to entry for acquiring and weaponizing drone technology is getting lower every day. That's why conversations like the one we're having right now are so important. Staying informed and understanding the nature of these new threats is our best collective defense. Thank you so much for joining me today to unpack this complex issue. It's a developing story, and one we'll be keeping a close eye on. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think we're prepared for the age of drone warfare? Let me know in the comments below. If you found this video informative, please give it a thumbs up, and do you and F forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you won't miss our next deep dive. Stay safe and stay curious.